Provo, Utah. Now, as with most alleged Bigfoot footage, the shaky vertical video spurs frenzied speculation, but seems to fail anything conclusive about the clarity of what exactly is captured on film. Now, back on January 25th, 2019, posted anonymously to a cryptozoology forum, this film shows a large, dark humanoid figure ambling through the snow on a steep hillside behind a residential neighborhood. Now, the mystery location is later identified as the foothills of the Wasatch Range near Provo. Now, due to the distance and poor video quality, details of this lumbering creature are largely obscured. Now, only a black silhouette is visible tramping through the snow before disappearing out of frame after just a few seconds. Now, after closely analyzing the footage frame by frame, adjusting filters and saturation to try and bring this blurry blob into focus, well, it is what it is. But the ambiguous pixelated form reveals no identifiable features or conclusive evidence of anything unnatural. Now, skeptics simply dismiss it immediately as a hoax or misidentification, but believers see it as some of the most compelling Bigfoot evidence. This winter trek through snow-covered ravines, taxing their stamina, chattering about the fact that they're annoyed as it prowled, displaying no place like the UK. They dragged its body back to the village to dock.
Viewing this scene again with open eyes, it's clear the spider is not running away. It is being drawn out of hiding because of the presence of things that resonate with it, either the fear given off by the prey, the hobbits, or the predatory aggression coming from above. All spiders are predators and eat living things, aka prey. You hear a lot of sniffing going on, and there's a lot of evidence for the vibration theory of smell. It argues that a molecule's smell is due to its vibrational frequency. Next, a centipede comes out to say hello. Again, another hypercarnivore predator. Saturn ring wraith with the reptilian scale mail, glove armor. Common cliche TV trope, the taste of fear or smelling fear. Same goes for evil smells bad, like death, rotting flesh, sulfur. The last thing to show up are the worms, not trying to escape by going further underground, but they are being drawn out towards the entity. Why earthworms? Worms eat decaying matter. Even more plainly described, they eat plants and animals that have died. Death resonates with worms. It is something they are drawn to. This ties into where Sauron comes from, where he is communicating from, because he does not have a physical form on Middle-earth, but is imprisoned in the void. Sounds similar to the writings in most holy or noble stories out there. Tartarus, the abyss, the deep, the realm of rebellious spirits, Narak, Yachanim, hell, or the lowest of the hellish realms, or planes. And now, a brief summary of what that is, what is found in the void.
There is no life in the void. Only death.
This Nazgul is a servant of an entity imprisoned in the void. That void only has death. The servant of an entity imprisoned in death realm resonates with worms. And worms scripturally speaking, are comparable to serpents, because the serpent is cursed for the rest of its days with a diet of dust, or death, from death to dust, always in decay. Harry Potter, the Death Eaters, from House Slytherin, the House of Snakes, the brood of vipers, or as I like to call them, shit eaters, because fecal matter is dead and decaying matter. Beelzebub, Lord of the Flies, a shit eater. It always surprises me how fast flies can find a fresh kill or some fresh doggy doo-doo. It resonates with them. It is a frequency that they are drawn to. No surprises how the Death Eaters from Harry Potter also wear the same kind of black cloaked witchy wizard costume, same as the Ringwraiths. Sounds a lot like a glass harmonica being played. The individual here is being played towards an overload, and it breaks the glass. Everyone knows that touch can change your mental state. That does not look anything like a roach's foot. Looks like a dragon foot. And the backstory is that this character started out like an insectoid, serpentine kind of creation, even with a cobra hood. But then, through a script change, they went decidedly more cockroach with it.
Come on, bring it! Come on, bring it!
So Wilma here and the cockroaches on the arm. Wow, how did that happen? Why did they show up? Well, there was just this exhibition of aggressive behavior. It was sympathetic resonance going on there, that the roach brain is very small, and comparing it to our brain, there isn't much on their mind other than responding to fear, so they run away, or responding to hunger, so they eat, or they go looking for food, and then the urge to reproduce. And in those last two things, there's also an exhibition of aggressive, territorial behavior. And that's all they know, and so that's why this aggressive behavior here, that was something that resonated with them. They were sympathetic to that. No one asks why all of a sudden are there bugs everywhere. So it's like they're drawn out to similar frequencies, similar behavior.
Was that your auntie? Oh, then that must mean that that's your uncle then, huh? Oh, you know y'all look alike.
querido decir nada antes de chequear bien lo que estaba sucediendo porque compromete a personajes del canal.
September 3rd, 2011.
Una postura distinta, utilizando toda la concentración y todos los recursos que puede.
The Chilean news station TVN is hosting a live game show called KA7, or 7th Street, in which young adults compete in a series of challenges to avoid being eliminated, with the winner going on to eventually earn a cash prize. In Chile, the show was considered a success during its run, though it was never anything too out of the ordinary, especially as far as game shows go, and many familiar with it would probably be surprised to see it discussed in a video like this, as its family-friendly setup made it the last place you would ever expect to encounter a dark TV moment. And for most of its run, this was true, except for that fateful September day.
Comienza a complicar la prueba. JC elonga los brazos, Katy Contreras también. Y ayuda, en este caso.
Por favor, quiero que paren la competencia. Quiero que paren la competencia. Por favor.
En este caso, prueba.
Day.
Brazos, Katy Contreras también. Y ayuda, en este caso.
Por favor, quiero que paren la competencia. Quiero que paren la competencia, por favor. Nos acaba de llegar una información muy difícil de entregar. No habíamos querido decir nada antes de chequear bien lo que estaba sucediendo porque compromete a personajes del canal.
As the participants were engaging in a heated competition, the host, Jean-Philippe, unexpectedly halts the program in the middle of a game with breaking news that a terrible, terrible accident had occurred, though not one on the show, but instead within the network itself. That morning, a team of workers from the TVN station, including famed presenters Felipe Camaroga and Roberto Bruce, along with numerous staff, had boarded a military aircraft to document the recovery efforts after the 2010 earthquake which had ravaged the country, with the plane heading for the island of Robinson Crusoe, a destination that they would sadly never reach, as Jean-Philippe would interrupt KA7 to share the devastating news that the plane had crashed into the ocean and that everyone aboard had likely been killed instantly, including the entire team that TVN had sent and some of the network's most prominent presenters. The news sent shockwaves across the entire country and especially the TVN network, with the on-air team having to report that their close friends and colleagues had tragically passed away. And over the course of the following days, numerous bodies would be found floating near the crash site, along with debris and eventually the craft itself. It was said that the flight had encountered heavy winds upon reaching their destination, leading to 2 failed landing attempts, and while making a large U-turn to try their 3rd landing attempt, the flight would disappear into the water, likely as a result of the craft running out of fuel. The interruption of the television program was and is considered a truly grim moment in the world of television, but the situation only gets more eerie as, upon searching the wreckage, divers would discover that the network's cameraman had been filming minutes before the crash, getting shots of each and every person aboard, all of whom were clueless to the fact that in just a few minutes' time, they would all be dead. It's unexplainably haunting watching a group of people unknowingly experiencing their final moments on this earth. But evidently, this footage wasn't the only morbid discovery. Within one of the camera's SD cards was a curious set of 6 images. Images that at a glance are not directly discernible, but once some effects are applied, start to become a bit more clear. As in the most infamous example, we see what appears to be a plane window, along with a large amount of water covering the lens, with the image being timestamped after the plane had impacted the water. And to make things even stranger, the SD card that was storing these images was allegedly found inside an empty water bottle. And though to my knowledge it has never been proven, these images introduce the idea that at the very least, the cameraman, Romina Irazabel, was alive and even conscious after the crash, and snapped the pictures before placing the SD card in the water bottle in order to save them from corrupting in the salt water, which would also mean that he was alive and trapped aboard the broken vessel as it slowly sank to the bottom of the ocean, drowning with no hope of escaping the wreckage. To this day, the broadcast interruption, the footage, and the haunting unexplained final images cultivate into what can only be described as one of the darkest moments in TV history.
I am going to do something that is unthinkable.
This is miserable. This is unbelievable.
We don't know what has just happened right there.
All